Have you ever gotten your paycheck, felt good for maybe a day, and then looked at your bank account a week later and just wondered, where on earth did it all go? You're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on this great money illusion and figure out why so many of us feel like we're just running on a financial treadmill that we can't get off. I mean, this is the real head scratcher, isn't it? You do everything you're supposed to do, you go to school, you get the job, you earn a pretty good salary, but you still end up living paycheck to paycheck. It is so frustrating, and it really makes you feel like you're missing some secret that everyone else knows.
And let's get one thing straight right off the bat. For most people, this is not a character flaw. It's not about you being lazy or just having bad luck. Those old excuses, they just don't really tell the whole story. The reality is, our financial world is full of these hidden traps. They're kind of perfectly designed to keep you from ever getting ahead. But here's the good news, and it's really good news. Once you can see the traps, you can avoid them. And in this explainer, we're basically handing you the escape map.
Okay, let's start with the traps that are easiest to see, the ones that pop up in our day-to-day lives. We're talking about the spending traps. Think of these as the quiet, slow leaks that are draining your financial tank before you even notice anything's wrong. So first up is the big one, the classic lifestyle inflation. You know how it goes. You get a raise, maybe a bonus, or a better paying job, and what's the first thing that happens? The car gets a little nicer, the apartment gets a little bigger, you start going out to fancier restaurants. Your spending magically rises to meet your new income. So you're making more money, but you're not actually getting any wealthier. This little table tells a huge story. Look at this. Person B makes more than double what person A does, but at the end of the year, they've both saved the exact same amount. This proves it's not just about how much you make. The real secret to building wealth is making the gap between what you earn and what you spend as wide as possible. So, how in the world do you escape this trap? It's simple, but it's powerful. You flip this script with one rule: pay yourself first. The second that raise or new salary hits your bank account, you automatically move a big chunk of it into savings or investments. You do it before you can even think about what to spend it on. You lock in that gain for your future self before it just vanishes into thin air.
All right, the next spending trap is even more dangerous because it disguises itself as a helpful tool. As our source material puts it, credit cards are a silent wealth killer. And that's so true. They're sold to us as a convenience, but for millions of people, they're really just a cage made of high-interest debt. 20%, or even higher. Let that number sink in for a second. That's the average interest rate you are fighting against when you carry a credit card balance. It's like trying to fill up a bucket that has a giant hole in the bottom. You can keep pouring your hard-earned money in, but a huge chunk of it just leaks right back out to the bank. It's an uphill battle.
Let me show you exactly how that trap snaps shut on you. So you buy something for $100, but if you only make the minimum payments, that 20+% interest starts compounding. That means you start paying interest on your interest. Before you know it, that $100 thing you bought has actually cost you $200. You've paid the bank just as much as you paid the store. It's wild. Okay, so it's not just about what you spend. The next set of traps is all about what you don't have. Let's call them the preparedness gaps. These are the missing safety nets that can turn a tiny little stumble into a complete financial freefall. Get ready for this statistic because it is a real gut punch. Most Americans have less than $1,000 saved for an emergency, less than $1,000. That means the majority of people are living right on the edge, just one small crisis away from total disaster.
And think about what that means in the real world. A flat tire on the way to work, an unexpected trip to the urgent care clinic, your washing machine breaks down. For someone without an emergency fund, these aren't just annoying inconveniences. They're the triggers that force them right back onto high-interest credit cards, digging that hole of debt even deeper.
The way out is to build a financial shield. And you start small, okay? Don't get overwhelmed. Just focus on putting $500 aside. That little fund alone can deflect most of life's annoying little emergencies. And from there, you start building toward the real goal, a fund that could cover 3 to 6 months of your essential expenses. That's not just a shield, that's your fortress.
This brings us to the next big gap, and this one, it's a knowledge gap. I mean, think about it. We spend more than a decade in school learning about history, science, math, but almost zero time on the practical rules of money. So we're just thrown out into the world to figure it out on our own, which usually means making the same expensive mistakes that everyone else makes. And the crazy thing is, the basics aren't even that complicated. It's about knowing how to make a budget that actually works. It's about understanding how compound interest can either be your best friend or your worst enemy. And it's about learning the crucial difference between assets, things that put money in your pocket, and liabilities, which take money out. This knowledge is the key to taking back control.
And now let's talk about the final trap. This one is about the money itself, where it comes from. And honestly, this one affects almost everyone who has a traditional 9-to-5 job. It is the income trap.
I mean, this picture says it all, doesn't it?
For most people, a whopping 95% of their entire financial world depends on that one single paycheck. All of your eggs are in one very, very fragile basket. And that is just an incredibly vulnerable place to be. Companies have layoffs, entire industries get disrupted, the economy shifts. A single event that is completely out of your control can instantly wipe out your entire financial foundation. So the escape here is diversification. It's about building more than one road for money to travel to you. And look, this doesn't mean you have to go start 5 new companies tomorrow. It can be a small freelance gig on the side. It can be a weekend hustle doing something you enjoy. It could be investing in stocks that pay you dividends. The goal is just to create extra streams, no matter how tiny they are at first, to make your foundation that much stronger.
So, we've walked through all the traps, and we've talked about how to get out of each one. Now it's time to put it all together into one clear blueprint. This is your 5-step escape plan to break the cycle for good. Here it is, the whole blueprint. It all starts with step 1. You have to live below your means to create some breathing room. Then you use that breathing room for step 2, attacking and destroying that high-interest debt. Once you're out of the hole, you move to step 3, building your fortress with an emergency fund. While you're doing that, you're working on step 4, arming yourself with knowledge. And then finally, with a secure foundation, you can go on the offense with step 5, building those multiple streams of income. I want to leave you with this really powerful idea from our source material. It says, staying broke might be the norm, but it doesn't have to be your story. And that's so true. For a lot of people, struggling with money is just the default setting. It's normal. But it doesn't have to be your reality. You absolutely have the power to write a different financial story for yourself.
So as we wrap this up, let me leave you with this question to think about. Of all these traps we've talked about today, lifestyle inflation, debt, no savings, the knowledge gap, or just relying on one paycheck, which one do you personally think is the absolute hardest to escape? Give it some real thought. Your answer to that question might just be the key to figuring out your very first step.